Okay, loves. So I'm super excited about this because we're going to get a little bit granular about your health. And I keep bringing in different people around the health and wellness strategy section because, well, I love an inspiring story and I love hearing people's journeys. But the other reality is like there are other things that are keeping us or keeping you from being able to be it till you see it. And it's not just access to a dream or access to inspiration. It could be actually something going on in your body that no matter what your morning routine is, no matter how much you meditate, no matter how many self-development books you read or journals you do or visualizations you do, that actually you could do all of that and still not feel optimal. And there are different ways to figure that out. And today's guest, Jessica Brothers, she is going to explain that to you. And it's really inspiring. I know for myself, I feel fired up about this information. I feel like, oh, there's a possibility of an answer right around the corner, and I don't have to do any more guesswork. And I share that because you can try all the different diets in the world, but like at some point you're going to want to just know what's going to work best for you. And you're going to hear from Jessica how they actually do know what can work best for you. And there is information out there and there is support out there, and you don't have to live like this anymore. And you don't have to trade your health, for time in your future. You don't have to. There's another way. There's a better way. And so thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We could not do this without you. And if this podcast is helping you in any way, please share this with a friend, leave us a review. Just so you know, if you leave us a review, you can email the beitpod@gmail.com and you can get a free training on habits. So if you're like, okay, Lesley, I want a morning routine. It's like, yeah, I have a habits course that you can have. We'll just give it to you free. We just need a review from you, either on Spotify or Apple or anywhere there's podcast reviews that are taken. All right. Now, without further ado, let's just dive in with Jessica Brothers right now. Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Hey, Be It Babe. All right. I'm so excited for our guest today, Jessica Brothers. I actually met her through another podcast guest y'all loved, Michael Unbroken. So we happened to be at a dinner where he was like, I'm in town. I'm going to see both of my friends at the same time. And we had this really great time. And I heard her story and what she's doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have you on. So Jessica, can you tell everyone who you are and what you're up to?
Absolutely. First, Lesley, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so my name is Jessica Brothers. I am a 20-year board certified integrative nutritionist. I'm a human biologist geek for sure. I've been an expert health strategist during that time as well, but my specialty is epigenetics. I like to dive deep at root causes of why people feel anything less than really, really great, which is mainly what I found in our epigenetics. So that's mainly my mission in life, is to help the world heal. That's huge to me.
Okay. So I love all of this. I think there was tests that thank God happened when they did, because I'd probably be dead, or at least just not functioning as well as I am today. But for the person who's not aware, can you tell what epigenetics is?
Yes, it's your genes. And our genes express and communicate, and they're responsible for every function of our body to work. So that's pretty much if your genes aren't expressing themselves or communicating properly, our functions break down. When our functions break down, we get symptoms. And it's daily symptoms. It's not just the big diseases. It's smaller things too, like migraines or anxiety, or how we feel stress, or bouts of depression. It's just even little things like that as well, or just pains in our hands.
Okay, hold on. Because You just said some things that I think a lot of people will think that might not be related to, but you're saying
Mhm.
like anxiety and the migraines and depression, these
Yes.
bouts.
Yes.
This is crazy because I think a lot of people think, oh, if I just get a job, it's less stressful. Like, yes, maybe do that too, but like some of it could be in your genes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yes, your environment has a lot to do with how we feel stress, or can add stress, which will create different expressions in your genes as well. So yeah, stress is everywhere in our life, but there is a healthy amount of it that we should always apply to our body, because when we eat, it applies stress to our metabolism, but it strengthens it. When we work out, we apply stress to our muscles, but it strengthens it. So
Yeah.
take that into consideration. But how we feel stress and are able to react to it, that variance can depend on how healthy your genes are. So yeah, if you feel stress or anxiety to a point where you have attacks or it just overwhelms you, then there is some missing components in your body that aren't functioning 100% and can be functioning better. And that basically comes down to your expression of your genes for sure.
Okay, so then like if I have genes that are like being sluggish, not communicating,
Yeah.
how do we turn that? How do we like work them out and inspire them to like get
Mm.
motivated? Like, what is that?
Yes, great question.
Is it
I think you're gonna,
self-talk? Am I
yes,
like,
you're gonna love this answer too, because it's our food. It's 100% our food. Actually, let me not say 100%. It is mainly our food, but it's also our environment choices and our choices of the skincare products, stuff we put on our body. So it is that it's environment choices, externals and how we feed our body on the internal. So
mm,
that combination depends on how healthy your genes are going to be. Yes, we're born with our genes, but we are not destined to them. We can heal them. We have that ability, and it all stems from food.
this is crazy. And for the list, like some people already know my story and I won't go all into detail because it's like 10 years long,
So
but
is mine. You and I both.
yeah, but like so definitely food set off something in my system and then I went into a vicious cycle of not knowing what's going on in my stomach, which is causing stress, which then that helped me not sleep. And then I wasn't going through a
Yeah.
digestion. So then like it was this vicious. I got down to I was so bloated at the end of the day that I looked like I was 9 months pregnant. I was sleeping 90 minutes to 3 hours a night. And I was like, I can't sleep. And then when I had tests done, I didn't even think that this other stuff would come up. It's like, just tell him what's going on with my stomach. And he's like, so do you know that you have like metal going on in your body? And it looks like
Mhm.
you have a ton. I was like, arsenic and cadmium were like through the roof. And he's like, where are you living? Like, I'm like, I'm in an apartment right here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so everyone lives. Why is no one else suffering from it? But it's like the way my genes dealt with that stuff
Yes.
and everything. So it's so crazy how environment plus what we eat.
Hmm.
And then the skin stuff, yes, he made me throw out a bunch of the shampoos and I had to switch to all these other things. And I was like, well, I'm not changing the lipstick, but I asked permission on that first. He said, as long as it's not shiny and glittery, we're doing okay.
Yeah, okay. And choose your poisons, I guess, because reality is we still want to live life and love the things that we do and have life bring us happiness. And I realize that I can't eliminate plastics everywhere. I use plastics all the time. So and I do my absolute best with them, but that's the one thing I don't want to say I'm lenient on. I'm very aware of it, but everything else is very tight because I know that plastics are in my life. And so everything else in my skincare, my environment, what I feed my body, my brain, my eyes, my ears, everything around me, I'm very particular on because I accept plastics in a way, you know.
Yeah.
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 So the metals in your body, absolutely. So at the top of our genes is what I call the mothership. Okay, the mother of the genes is called methylation, and I'll go into that. But it is the processing of our system in our body that basically it helps detoxify. So if your methylation was inconsistent, your body was building up all these toxins, which would result into your result, what you were going through
Mm,
for sure.
that's crazy. That's so interesting. Um, okay. So first of all, were you always like You've been doing it for 20 years. I'm looking at you. There's just no way like you're 30 years old. So, but like
Thank you.
what got you into this? And then like, what was that journey like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was born for this. That is now looking back. I mean, I did my first bicep curls at 9 years old. Like, let's be real. Jessica was just being bred for this. I was starting to collect health magazines to learn healthy eating at 9. I was working out in my living room, making my own grocery lists, telling my mom, I only want this food, mom, creating my own meal plans. I mean, who does that at 9 years old? In the 80s, by the way. Okay. I mean, this is wild. But then I got to my 20s. I was working out 7 days a week, eating what I thought was healthy, but I was gaining weight. I had negative body image. I had depression. Like, I did not love myself. And I realized that my mindset needed some working on. So I started doing that and started learning more about nutrition, because that was always a journey for me. And as I realized how much, my mindset was important with the physical, things started kind of clicking and changing more. But then one day I got really sick, like really sick. My stomach blew up, looked like I was 9 months pregnant. I got 104 fever for 10 days straight. I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow, vomiting, couldn't keep any food in. And about 10 days later, I would be okay. I'd be able to walk, but I felt like I wasn't even here.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was in a cloud. I had brain fog. I was getting out of body anxiety experiences. I wasn't even afraid to drive my son around. And he was just a baby. And so, 3 weeks later on the dot, it happened again. Same exact symptoms, same exact sequence. So I went to the doctor. They told me it was the flu. I said, no, this is not the flu. I'm going to
Like, I've just had it 3 times. I've had it 2 times in 3 weeks. Like, that's like, I mean, no.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody else in my house was getting sick. And I knew it wasn't the flu. Then every other doctor said it was stress. Oh, this is just stress. You've had a lot of stress in your life. I'm like, this is not stress. Maybe stress is aggravating this, but this is not stress. What is going on? And every 3 weeks, I started tracking it. About every 3 weeks on the dot, the same cycle would happen. It would last anywhere from 5 to like 11 days. Wow. And in between those cycles, I was a walking zombie that couldn't focus, do anything. And on top of it, I had my own business and a son that I was trying to raise.
Yeah.
Come to find out, after over 20 specialists, I found naturopaths and, hippie doctors. And I found out I had an autoimmune. So that's what was happening. And I said to myself, how can someone like me, who works out, eats right, feeds their mind good, develop an autoimmune? What is the reasoning in that? Right?
Yeah. Well, I think like so many people would be like, if it happened to Jessica, like what the rest of us gonna like, how's, what I mean? So like, absolutely. Yes, I understand that question. And some people would just go, okay, I have an autoimmune. And you're like, wait, hold on. I've been doing all the things. How did this happen?
Yeah, exactly. And so it made me dive really deep back into human biology and be like, okay, we do all these things to make us healthy. We know healthy people who die of diseases. Like, how did that person who never smoked, never drank, ran every single morning, die of a heart attack early? Yeah. Like, I started thinking about all these things. And I'm like, there's got to be root reasons here, and I'm going to find it. And that's when I found epigenetics. How our genes express, and how I didn't understand at the time. And there wasn't a ton of research on how we could feed our body correctly so that our genes would express in a manner that created a pathway of health instead of the pathway of dis-ease that we were given from our parents and our ancestors. And that changed everything. I started healing.
This is so cool. I mean, I think you can be listening to this and like nodding along and like, okay, I get it. Like seriously though, like everyone in the same household is eating the same foods pretty much. Like when I was growing up, all of a sudden, like I got into modeling. So I started eating a different way. My brother was trying to gain weight. So he was like, we're all trying to eat different things. My mom was like, this is crazy. There's 3 different types of milk in the fridge, but like actually for some bodies, like different meal plans are what are necessary for optimal health. And this makes so much sense that it's on a cellular level and a genes level, because like the person who I went through, he used to do this for NASA, for astronauts. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't just send all the astronauts up with like some basic plan. They each have to have a specific diet to be up there for however many months so that they don't get sick and they can run optimally. And like it shouldn't just be for the astronauts. We can all live like this.
Yes. Yes.
So if somebody is to do this, like what does this entail? Because now this sounds crazy. Like, is it just blood tests? Is it like, is this something, obviously you're a specialist in this. You can't just go to your regular doctor and go, excuse me, I would like you to test my genes today.
Yeah, most doctors aren't even trained to read those labs. They have no clue what they mean. You have to go to an epigenetics specialist like myself. And it's not even blood. It's even more simple than that. We send out cheek swabs right to your door. It takes 60 seconds. You literally swab a cheek, put it back in the envelope, send it off. It's prepaid. That's it. That is it. That is the start of your healthy journey.
Oh my gosh. Every person who's afraid of needles just like paid attention.
Yes, seriously. It's so simple. So
This is
simple.
this is crazy. So you were so you went through the school for this and now you do this. And what have you seen? Obviously your own body, this changed your life. How long did it take to change your life though? Do you still have this autoimmune disease? Like where are you at with that?
So my first instant result was within 2 weeks. My energy returned. My focus returned. The brain fog dissipated. That I remember clear as day, what night and day, like, wow, just 2 weeks after my protocol, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And 3 months later, my body started changing. Like my life, I was so grateful. My life was given back to me. Like I felt like me again. It was just so beautiful. And most people experience that within a shorter range of time, depending on what's going on with them. Do I still have an autoimmune? I'm still working on the last bits of my gut because damage happened so much in my gut. I have healed my processes and gut is now being cleaned out. And I'm just about there because I had to literally learn everything, and test everything on me too. It wasn't just like, oh, this is what you do and you're going to be healed in 3 months. But now I understand so much that when people come to me within 1 year, I can get them feeling so good and on that road to optimal health healing because I've been doing this for so long now and I understand so much. And I have this beautiful team of experts that help me bring all this information together of what they know and what I know. So it expedites the client's experience. It's amazing.
See, thank you for sharing. Because I think like some people might be like a year. Well, it's not a magic pill. And it also didn't take most of us who have gone through something. You've been going through it longer. If you're listening to this and you've got some health stuff, you've been going through it longer than a year for sure.
Yes.
For sure. And you are going through it before you even paid attention to it.
Yeah.
And so you have been in this process a long time. And I like having gone, and I still have stomach health stuff that I'm really frustrated by. So I'm listening very for my own personal benefit, but like, because I would give anything if I knew a year from today I was going to feel better than I do right now. I would take that in a heartbeat. And I think we want things to be faster, but if we want them to be done in a way that lasts, you're literally like, you have to do like rebuilding the systems from the base. Yeah. So in many years of experience with like helping people with their fuel and their diets and their protocols, like when people don't do things like this, when people don't get something specialized, how does that actually keep them from feeling like the best version of themselves? Like, what are they losing out on?
Yeah, they're literally losing out on health because every day that you go with feeling less than your optimal health, you are creating a stronger pathway to disease. I could look at someone's genes and say, in 10 years, you're going to develop Parkinson's. And by the time you're this age, you're going to have dementia. By the time this happens, if you keep at this level, this is what pathway of disease you're creating. And it's sad because it's all so preventable, but we're not educated. And this isn't the normal. And people think it's too good to be true to be able to just take supplements and be able to heal their body, because we're not taught this. So you're missing out on your life.
This is crazy because I feel like the way people talk about things like dementia or even Parkinson's is like, oh, it just happened to you. We don't really know how that's
Not true.
happening, but it's
Yeah,
untrue.
it's so untrue. Dementia is actually a type 3 diabetes. What happens is our brain likes glucose. And if we eat too much of it, our brain has no place to store it. So what happens is it builds up in these little crevices of your brain because there's no place for it. So you actually don't lose your memories. You lose access to your memories because it's a buildup that cuts off, the waves to go to your memories. If your memories are over here and this is the pathway to access it, but there's a big buildup of glucose, you lose access to it. It can't reach your memories anymore. And so if you understand that and your body's on that pathway, you can prevent that from happening, or you can slow it, or even in some cases, you can reverse it and clean out that dementia and re-access those memories. That is how powerful this is.
This is insane. So when you talk about a protocol, because people are like, okay, this now sounds like magic. Are we talking like food, workouts? Like, are we talking about supplements? What is like, is it a 3-part, 5-part? What does it look like?
Yeah, great question. So protocol is raw materials, which is nutrition. It's basically the usable form of our food. And I can explain that. But yes, tools of working out, meditation, because remember, it's not only your food, but it's your environmental factors too. So when you get a good grip on both of those, you're going to feel really, really good. And so what do I mean by raw materials and usable form? Well, the food we eat is, our body doesn't, when you eat an apple, your body's not like, oh, an apple, I'm going to use this apple. No, that's not what works. You eat the apple, it squeezes down the esophagus, it meets your stomach, and the acids start breaking it down into, the enzymes, and basically your cells start pulling it into them and create a catalyst for what's called your methylation process. It's the refining process that your body takes all our food that we eat and turns it into usable form, raw materials, vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, and delivers it to all 200 functions of your body. It's our refining system.
Yeah. And then so many if those organs aren't functioning, then it's not going to the right place.
That's when pathways to disease start happening. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why the quality of our food is so important. If you're eating fast food all the time with no micronutrients in it, then your functions of your body are not receiving any tools. I mean, you wouldn't build a house without tools, right? Yeah. I mean,
just gonna duct tape it all together and hope it stays.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's what we're doing to our bodies when we don't feed it the proper nutrition.
Yeah. So, when people hear like proper nutrition, they hear things like that, it can sound like expensive. Like, because I remember growing up as a kid, my parents, it was like so cheap for them to get the Taco Bell family deal because it was like 39-cent bean and cheese burritos, with all the different people you've coached, like, is this like, we're now going to eat, like everyone's eating at Whole Foods and the most expensive, like groceries, or is that like, is there an affordable family plan of feeding yourself with the right fuel?
Absolutely. I think there's a huge misconception about eating healthy is expensive. I think that's something that, is spread around, that we've adopted, that I don't feel is 100% true. Because if you think healthy is expensive, try being sick. Think about all the doctor bills, the time out of work, the time away from your family, time period. You can't buy time. What's that look like when you're laying in bed all the time, or when you come to a place where you're in a hospital and you almost lose your life, or you have to have organs taken out and now you can't function properly, you can't run around with your kids, you can't work anymore, and now you're on disability. I mean, Lesley, you know what it's like to be sick.
Yeah.
I mean, you think healthy is expensive. Money is not expensive, is not just money. Expensive is wasting of time, wasting relationships, wasting money too. And not only that, when you feed your body the proper micronutrients, when your body is hungry, it's not about volume. Your body is not like, oh, give me this amount of food. No, when your body is hungry, it's sending out signals of, I need this vitamin, this mineral, this protein, this amino acid. It has a list of what it wants satisfied. And those hunger signals may be shut off for a little bit, but they'll turn back on as soon as it's not satisfied. Once it starts digesting the food and it's processing, it's like, wait a minute, I'm missing this and this and this. We better turn those signals back on and ask you for it. But we're not taught that. We get it through cravings because of biochemical processes become addictions and all this stuff. We're not taught until we look at our labs from our genes and we know exactly what our body is missing to function properly. That's huge. And so one thing, I've been vegan for over 4 months now for research. I've eaten less than I ever have in my entire life, because I'm eating such nutrient dense food. When I say I'm going vegan, I'm not doing like dirty vegan. I call it clean vegan. There's no processed foods in there. I don't eat processed foods. Okay. It's all a bunch of microgreens, vegetables, cooked and raw, lots of salads, a ton of different rainbow colored veggies. I've never eaten so less. And I'm not saying I'm malnutrition, because I'm not, because I've gotten stronger in the gym. I work out 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm stronger in the gym, less inflammation, more energy. My blood pressure has gone down. The results I'm getting is amazing. And my cravings, and I was a food addict, have diminished, like diminished.
You know, I remember when I was on an elimination diet and I was on it for too long. So it was like definitely not something I was like left on it, because like every time I would enter food back in, I would get sick again. So like, well, just, I guess, stay on that. I'm like, what's a bad idea. But I will say, after the first couple of weeks, like just getting off of the sugar, that I like literally sent me crying for 4 days.
Yes.
I definitely had I definitely love a good sugar. But I didn't have the cravings. I would like it. It's so interesting how I would eat my meals and I would feel satiated and I would feel fueled, and I was doing 2 workouts a day then. Like I was doing a lot of stuff and I was very strong. So I'm a little jealous, because I'm like, maybe I need to look into that, but I'm not going to until I do a test with you, because I'm going to find out what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like the vegan diet is the way to go.
Yeah.
I think my point is that when you have a nutrient dense nutritional intake, it definitely has a result and effect on you. I'm not saying I'm going to be vegan forever either, because I love my steak, but most people don't know this. And Lesley, you come from the fitness world. We're told in the fitness world to eat a ton of protein. And so I was eating a ton of protein, but something I discovered a few years back was our body has the ability to turn protein into glucose, sugar. So when you eat too much of it, you get those sugar cravings. It gets stored. And I thought that protein was the one macronutrient that couldn't be stored in your body, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So
I was just listening to a guy on Huberman about like, protein, fat loss, glucose, everything. And it's actually very interesting. Yes, we do need a lot of protein, but there's actually no benefit of having more protein than you need. And it's 100%. Basically like, it's like a gram for every pound it's like, so it sounds like a lot when you're like, wow, that's a lot of protein for every pound you are or you want to weigh. So if you're like trying to lose weight, but more than that, it's not satisfying your cravings, and you're not storing it for tomorrow in case you have less.
Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true. And too much protein in your body actually creates aging in your body. It does, because it creates this like conglomeration around our cellular membranes. And so nutrition can't get in, and nothing can happen. And what happens is these proteins start aging our cells, and they die off faster than new ones are being made. And that's how aging happens.
Okay. That's so fascinating. So here's what's like so interesting is how durable our bodies are and how not. Like how people can live on diets that have zero nutrition forever and ever and ever. And also how just a simple of not enough of this thing and too much of this thing can like start shutting things down. And so it makes me just go like, geez, would be like a full-time job to get right.
Absolutely.
Like with people, like how difficult is it to, I mean, I guess it's probably a personal thing, like depending on how far off you are, or how different your lifestyle is from how you want it to be. But like, Do you find that people have to like only pay attention to this all the time, or is it just in the beginning as they get used to it? Like, how easy is this to incorporate into your lifestyle? For you, it's your job, but like for the average person, what have you seen?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. We make it as simple as possible because again, I've been doing this for so long. I understand change is difficult. Changing your lifestyle, changing your eating, it's difficult. Most people don't want to do it. They don't because it's a social thing. It's a habit thing. It's a family thing, and everything we do revolves around food, and it's hard to change. So I understand that. So we make it as simple as possible. That's why we use supplements. We use supplements to help bring in the raw materials your body needs. So you can, I don't want to say you can do everything you're still doing and still feel really, really great, but it's going to be enough of a catalyst for you to start feeling great, to want to make better choices. And it doesn't need to be perfect. That's the thing. So that's why we've made it so simple. Because I used to be a meal plan and fitness coach and design all those things for people. And I understand how difficult it is. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do the genetic testing, because once you have that, it's for life. That doesn't ever change. Once you
Oh,
have it, it's for life. Okay.
cool.
Once you know what your body needs, we got that. So we create that protocol. We understand what you need. So there's no guessing work. There's no elimination diets. Okay.
Amazing.
Which is beautiful. It cuts all that out. So we have your body respond to that protocol over a period of time. So all you got to do is take your supplements every day, and you're going to notice changes in your body, and things are going to come up, and we'll be like, okay, let's take this out. Let's bring this in. And it really is a very simple way for you to achieve your optimal health. And then you decide what you want to do from there.
I mean, my goodness, we should be doing this when people are kids. Like it should be like you're born. By the way, when they start eating solid
I have
food,
him.
here's the best food for your child.
Yes,
Like,
it's never
can
too
you
young.
imagine like I feel like there'd be like less tears and less cranky children out there.
Yes. A lot less ADHD, that's for sure. That is a
Mhm.
methylation issue. Huge, huge.
Interesting.
Yes.
I mean, Jessica, this is so fascinating. Because like, I love to bring people on who have stories of how they're being it till they see it. And I love to bring people on who are like, here's why you can't. And it keeps coming, like, I keep bringing it back to health, y'all, because it is, I know when I was sick, like I was barely able to keep the plate spinning, let alone like add a new plate. Like, so people go, do I do this? And I'm like, do I have the energy to do that? Like I could only say yes to modeling gigs and auditions in the morning. And then also the shoot had to be before lunch, because because I could only make it so long before I had to eat something. And the moment I started eating, the moment I didn't fit in the clothes, the moment I could not model the thing that they would want,
Yes.
and then with for life, like I would have one outfit that I could teach in the morning, but as the day went on, the sweatshirt had to get bigger, because the legs looked the same. And so no one was knowing what's going on in that sweatshirt. But like all of that was distraction from everything I get to do now, because I have a much better control over my health, and I have energy levels. I can keep up with the things I want to do. And so, all the inspiration and strategy in the world are great, but if you don't have your health, you can't do it. You can't be it till you see. You can't do anything.
Yeah, it's so true. Your health is everything. It's the base of everything. Really is. So important.
All right, Jessica, where do you like to hang out? Where can people get more information if this was intriguing for them or they want to get more support?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on pretty much any social media. It's at Jessica Brothers Life. If they can see my screen. If not, I know this is a podcast too, but at Jessica Brothers Life. If you want to follow me, get to know me more about what I do. If you just want to reach out and ask a question, I'm happy to just give out my email. It's jessica@jessicabrothers.com. That is my personal email, and I'm happy to give it out. I will respond to you for sure, because I'm here to help you. I know what it's like to feel anything but healthy. And I know, Lesley, you can feel for that too. And I am 100% here to help and use my team to get you to where you want to be.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Before I let you go, you've given us some great strategies and tips already. Like I'm already like got notes of like, oh yeah, I forgot I was used to take those supplements. Let's get back to it. But be it action items, bold, executable, intrinsic, targeted steps people can take to be it till they see it. What do you have for us?
Oh, be it till you see it. So for me, it's a morning routine. It is a morning routine. Have a non-negotiable, fill your own cup. And for me, and it can look different for you, what I mean by fill your own cup, make sure you're doing things when you first wake up. Don't check your emails. Don't do anything for work or for anyone else. Do it for you, meaning like have water with mineral salt in it. Okay. Himalayan pink sea salt. Then do something that brings a smile to your face, whether it's writing goals, visualization of your future, right? That's huge. That's manifesting, right? Do something that makes your body feel good. So, and it can be anything you choose, whether it's stretching, Pilates, going to the gym, going for a walk. And again, it has to fill you and make you happy and mean something to you, and do it no matter where you are. And it can be as little as a 15-minute routine, or it can extend on. But you start there, you will notice a huge catalyst in your life, and you will get to exactly where you want to be, because it worked for me. It works for all my clients. I help with this little mini routine starting every morning.
I'm a big fan of the morning routine. You're not, I have some of the people I coach like, Lesley, I just don't want to get up any earlier. And I'm like, you can keep arguing to not, but I don't know. You can't, you got to have a morning routine for you. You just got to do it. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Because of the recovering perfectionist in the room, how much sea salt are we putting in? Like a little sprinkle? We doing a little in the water? Like, what are we talking?
I'll tell you exactly. So this is 22 to 24 ounces, depending on where I fill it up, of spring water. And I get a little grinder of Himalayan pink sea salt. I put in 20 turns. 20 turns of that. So I would think that's probably, I don't know, a teaspoon and a half.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna add this to my morning routine.
So, and I just shake it up. You gotta be okay. It's going to taste salty at first, but now my body craves it. Those minerals are so beautiful for your body in the morning.
Y'all, this drives Brad crazy, but like, literally he'll make dinner and I'm like, did you put salt on this? And he's like, yeah, I put salt on this. And then I take a bite and then I go and get the salt, put more salt. And I know that's like a chef's like, no, but I crave salt. Like I love chips and fries are just like a messenger for salt. So now that I can put it in my water, I'm just going to try that out. But like one of the times I had my blood work done, he's like, you can have all the salt you want. You don't have to do anything low sodium. It's not like you can have all of it you want. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then thank you.
Well, then now I will. Or just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Jessica, I could talk to you forever. I'm so glad we live so close. We have to make time to see each other again soon. Absolutely. And y'all, how are you going to use these tips in your life? Tag Jessica Brothers Life, tag the Beit Pot. Let us know. Because one, it brings joy to our lives to know that this helped you, but also it helps other people see that there is opportunities out there other than their current. And sometimes we just need to know that. Like, if you don't know that there's another option, there's another way to live optimally, then you just live your life like that. But you could be the person that inspires someone to get their health checked. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you everyone for listening. And until next time, be it till you see it.
Thank you.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Kroll. Our associate producer is Amanda Fraterelli.
Kevin Perez at Disenyo handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jairo Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Pedroso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.